Penukonda, near Kia Mortors India, was located. Just looks like a small rural town. But if you study this town more detailedly, you will find out this town is unique and special. Penukonda has a history as a summer capital of a famous Hampi, Vijayanagar Kingdom. And after Talikota Battle, it was the last capital of Vijayanagar Kingdom. Penukonda, whose name means big hill, is attached to number 44th National Highway that connects to Bengaluru to Hyderabad city. You can see big statue before you get in Penukonda through the south gate of the city. It's Krishuna Devaraya. He was the king who kept the proud of the Hindu when he fought back against the Islam Sultan allied force, even as being wounded. He was called as many nicknames by his followers. The last 13th century Sultan Islam kingdoms were spreading their territories and ruling all of the North India. But in southern side of the Krishna River, which was located between Hyderabad and Ananta and flows through east to west of the Middle India, the kingdom of Vijayanagar, which was ruled by Hindu, was still wondering its power. But the kingdom couldn't stand to the end against the Islam ally. Finally, at the Talikota Battle in 1565, they were defeated and lost Hampi, its capital, and moved to Penukonda, lasted about 100 years. After their moving to the Penukonda, they built a new fort. If you look down Penukonda from the sky, you can see Penukonda is a good place to make fort because outside the town it's just plain, but only Penukonda has cliff mountains. They say that there are 365 temples in Penukonda fort. It's hard to check if it's true, but anyway, if you pass through the gate, you can see many temples each side of the pathway and many people in lines who has come to do puja. If you pass by Andhra Bank and get in the small path, you can find a big reservoir. It was frightening to see this reservoir. How can such a big reservoir be among the density of houses and temples? In the old days, this reservoir might have supplied water to the villagers, and puja might have been held here by Brahman priest. They say down in the deep, statue of Hanuman is put in the water. If you go further into the fort, you can meet a trace of the old kingdom. That's the raw and rugged trace of 100 years of Vijayanagar Kingdom. You can find that trace even at a personal house. Gagan Mahal is the palace of Krishnadevaraya in Penukonda. You may be disappointed to see the size of that palace, but you'd better to take it fortunate that you can meet the old kingdom remains here. The shape of building is a regular quadrilateral. Each side has 5 rooms, and the ceilings of each room has a shape of a diamond, which matches traditional mandala shape. There was stone statue made in that period in the garden, right side of the building. Once you see them in the silence, it feels like sounds of hammering chisels. Because most of the time Gagan Mahal is closed, it's easy for you to just pass by. But if you ask the manager who lives near, who will not only open the gate, but also narrate stories about the palace. If you go further inside following the road, you will pass through the fort gate and meet the Shiva statue. The fort will stand around the village and climb up to the mountain. Southern side of the fort, there is a lake. I think it's kind of a moat. Shiva is one of 3 main gods with Brahma and Vishnu. Long ago, God and evils should die like human. They try to get permanent life. When the process of getting the elixir of life from the sea of milk, the toxic combination of impurities came first. That's poisonous enough to destroy all the world. Shiva swallowed it in order to prevent it. And then Shiva's body turned to be blue. If we see God's statue with blue body and 3 pronged spear, you can figure out that's Shiva. If you get back into the fort again, you can see Jain of Timmarusu, who was a minister of Krishnadevaraya. You can also see small scraps of relics inside. Nearby, there is a small reservoir made by big stone. Its size is small. but it has architectural beauty. They say there is an underground tunnel which is connected to some place of the kingdom. There is a Jain Temple which is known as one of 4 training centers of China. In 1359, a statue of Parshivanath, a sage of China, was devoted here. In a legend, Parshivanath had been reborn several times as a person, as an animal. The area of Kaleshwar Swamy is different from other areas, clean. There are good schools and a hospital with big walls and palm trees. There is another artificial reservoir. When I visited there, they left a very little water and lived a big turtle making friends with a big frog. The fourth wall goes from the edge of the mountain behind the Penukonda and passes through the market and the town and by the lake, which is located in south of Penukonda. The mountain is so steep that it's hard to climb, and with the fourth wall, it can be called as heaven's blessing fruit. There is a plain place which could make many persons survive there. Now on the top of the fort, there are big reservoirs and corridors around it. You can meet the trace of dark growing kingdom here. Following the road made by government, you can meet the old building standing at the entrance of the mountain top. The building is the very Lakshmi Temple. By this building, they've done the road making work, including breaking rocks. I couldn't figure out their intention, whether they would develop the relic or destroy it. For the worst, if you get inside the temple, you can see a big hole on the floor. This was made by robbers who wanted to get gold or something. I could see with my own eyes the theft was still going on. The top consists of 2 peaks. One is reached by a car. The other is 30 minutes away by the walk from the one. This peak is seen easily if you approach Penukonda from the north. If we get on the peak, you can see not only the whole village, but also all around the Penukonda. They say that there is a tunnel which connects from the top of the mountain down to the village. But they say government block people from approaching there. Believe it or not. To reach the top of the Penukonda fort, you can start near the Shiva statue by the Bogasamudaram lake. But I don't want to recommend this way because it's hard to avoid the hot sunshine and the scene is monotonous. So I recommend a way which I developed on my own. Go through the fort gate from the market and you can get inside of the fort village. From there, go straight about 40 meters. You will meet a path on your right side. Along the path, go to the end, you will meet Narasimha Temple. This temple was devoted to Hanuman, who helped Ram to defeat evil Ravana and save Sita, the Ram's wife in the Ramayana. From this temple, you can get the top in 1.5 hours by a slow walk. On the way to the top, you can see relics here and there, which were made in the period of Vijayanagar Kingdom. And you can also discover the sad situation that theft is still going on. From Bengaluru to Kia site, along the 44th National Highway, as you reach Penukonda, you can see artificial structure on the top of a low but steep mountain. If you meet this mountain after a journey with bouldering scene around the highway, you can see that you nearly reach the Kia site. I think it's a kind of landmark. This stone structure is Narasimha Temple, which was built in or before a period of Vijayanagar Kingdom. It marks as an Islam mosque on the Google map, but it's definitely Hindu temple as its type and structure. Narasimha is an avatar of Vishnu, who is one of the main Hindu 3 gods. To defeat Hiranyakashipu, who get the power not to be killed at daytime or at night and by a person, by an animal, or inside or outside. From Brahma, the god of creation, through a long time hard training. After all, Vishnu appeared at dusk as a half man, half lion and killed Hiranyakashipu. On the top, they made a big inner space by covering only with stone. It's amazing to imagine that they made columns and girders by stone, shifted them and made a building on the steep summit of the mountain. If you stand on the roof of the temple, you can see IK9 Hotel, Eden Hotel, highway, and surroundings of Penukonda. There is a facility you need to watch carefully. In the backside of the temple, there is a water supply system, which looks like a faucet. Backside of the tap, there is a somewhat big reservoir, and this reservoir was designed to collect water which drops on the rock. There are two ways to get to this Narasimha Temple. Eastern way is well made with a stone staircase and easy to climb, and the western way is somewhat desolate and hard to climb because people hardly know this way and rarely use it. But if you take western way, you can enjoy the narrow and interesting path between rocks and small trees and the cactus blooming lovely on the wide plain rock. And in summer season, you can avoid hot sunshine if you climb only in the morning. So I recommend you to take the western way when you go up and take the eastern way when you come down. As I show you, there are many traces of old kingdom in Penukonda. Recently, being concerned with the Kia Motors, many foreigners are visiting Penukonda, but I feel sorry that most of them go back without knowing Penukonda well. If you have a chance to visit Penukonda, I recommend you to meet the trace of the last Hindu kingdom of South India.